It all started on a Monday afternoon, the kind of quiet that sinks into your bones. I was folding laundry in the living room when my phone buzzed. It was a message from my husband, Tom, just a brief text that read, "Late meeting. Don't wait up." It was the third time this week. I stared at the message, my fingers pausing on a pair of socks. The ache in my chest had stopped being sharp a long time ago. It was dull now, familiar, like an old scar. Tom and I had been married for 10 years. Our son, Caleb, had just turned 7. We lived in a suburban home outside Columbus, Ohio. From the outside, our life looked perfect. But inside, I had become invisible. I didn't recognize when it happened. Maybe it was after Tom's promotion. Maybe after Caleb started school. Maybe when we stopped kissing goodbye. Or when our bed became a shared space rather than a place for intimacy. I used to think love faded slowly. Now I realized sometimes it just disappears when you aren't looking. And then came Aaron. He was a friend of our neighbors. I met him during a community block party. Tall, broad-shouldered, and sun-kissed, with a half-smile that made you feel seen in a room full of people. He had just moved from Denver to work with a local real estate group. I didn't plan to talk to him. I didn't plan for any of this. But something about Aaron pulled me in. "You look like you need to be anywhere but here," he said, standing beside me near the grill that night. I laughed softly, surprised by the honesty in his tone. "Maybe," I admitted. "It's just been one of those weeks." "I get that. New place, new people. It can get lonely." I didn't say anything at first. But he waited. And somehow I opened up. About Caleb. About my graphic design job that I did from home. About Tom. We didn't flirt that night. Not really. But something shifted. He looked me in the eyes when I spoke. Not past me, not through me. He listened. Over the next few weeks, I started seeing Aaron more. A hello when he jogged past our house. A wave from across the street. Then a casual cup of coffee at the local farmer's market. Nothing inappropriate. Not then. But the connection? It grew. I told myself I was imagining it. That I was just lonely. That I needed to pull back. But every time I tried, I found myself drawn closer. It was like trying to resist gravity. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the houses, I walked to the mailbox. Aaron was outside, watering his plants. We locked eyes. "Walk with me," he asked, holding up his water bottle. I nodded. Just a walk, I told myself. We ended up by the old trail behind the houses. We talked about music, childhood memories, the kind of things that felt too intimate but somehow safe in his presence. I found myself laughing, real laughter, not the kind I used to fake around Tom to keep the peace. And then it happened. Aaron stopped walking. I turned to him, heart pounding, unsure of why. His expression was unreadable. "I'm sorry," he said almost in a whisper. "But I need to say this. You make me feel like I've finally found something real." I should have stopped him. I should have reminded him I was married. That I had a family. But instead I said, "You make me feel seen." And then he kissed me. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't aggressive. It was intense. Deeply, overwhelmingly intense. The kind of kiss that shakes you. That reawakens something you thought had died. I didn't push him away. I didn't walk away. The days that followed were a blur of guilt and confusion. I avoided Tom, who was too busy with work to notice anything. I found myself looking forward to moments I could steal away. Just a conversation with Aaron. A walk. A glance. Then another kiss. Nothing beyond that. Not yet. But the emotional affair, it had already begun. And that, in many ways, felt even more dangerous. One Saturday morning, Tom finally noticed. "You've been distant lately," he said over coffee. "Is everything okay?" I looked at him, truly looked. He was wearing the same gray hoodie he always wore on weekends. His eyes were tired. He didn't reach for my hand. "I don't know," I whispered. "Sometimes I feel like we're just roommates." He sighed. "Work's been crazy. I know I've been off. Let's plan something. Just the two of us. A getaway. We need it." I nodded. I wanted to believe that would fix things. That it wasn't too late. But my heart, it was already split. That night, I walked to Aaron's house. I didn't tell him I was coming. He opened the door in jeans and a t-shirt, surprised but not unkind. I can't keep doing this, I said, tears stinging my eyes. It's not fair to anyone. He stepped aside, letting me in. You're right. But I won't lie. I care about you, Emily. I sat down on his couch, trembling. I care about you too. And that's the problem. There was silence between us. The weight of what we hadn't done, and what we might still do, hung in the air. I don't want to be the reason you hurt your family, he said finally. But I also don't want to pretend this isn't real. I nodded. I wish we had met at a different time. He came closer, gently brushing a tear from my cheek. Sometimes the heart doesn't care about the timing. I should have walked away then. But again I didn't. What followed wasn't a whirlwind affair. It was slower, more complicated. We didn't sleep together. But we shared more of ourselves than I ever did with my husband. Texts, phone calls, moments of vulnerability. And with each one, I drifted farther from the life I had built. Then came the day that shattered the illusion. Tom found the texts. I had forgotten to delete a message. It wasn't graphic, just a message that said, I miss the way you make me feel seen. But that was enough. He confronted me in the kitchen. Caleb was at a sleepover. I had no defense. Is there someone else? He asked, voice breaking. I stood there frozen. I never slept with him. That's not what I asked. I looked away, tears streaming down my face. I'm sorry. The pain in his eyes, I'll never forget it. Years of history, reduced to one moment of betrayal. We talked. We screamed. We cried. And then we sat in silence for a long, long time. In the end, we agreed to try therapy. Not for the sake of staying married, but for the sake of understanding where it all went wrong. Aaron moved away 2 weeks later. He left a note in my mailbox. I'll always wonder what could have been. But I hope you find peace. You deserve it. Sometimes I still think about him. About what it meant. About what I lost. And what I learned. Infidelity isn't always physical. Sometimes it's simply the moment you give someone else the parts of yourself your partner stopped seeing. I hurt people I loved. I hurt myself. But I also woke up to a truth I had buried for far too long. He was so intense. And no, I didn't walk away. But now I'm learning to walk back toward myself.